Look at me, I'm what you see, but can you tell the price in heat? I can tell you what I need, but 20 quid will buy a bottle of tea.
3, 2, 1, and
Sup?
Wog1. Thanks so much for joining us. Sorry for mixed setup on
the timing.
On the timing. It's all calm, man. You caught me on a good day anyway, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
How's your COVID experience? I heard you had a scare last week, no?
Yeah, man. Obviously, it's happened to me a couple times already. Like, I've had many plans, and then someone messages me like, "Oh, I just tested positive. Have to get tested." But so far, so good. No COVID yet.
Fair enough. At least you mentioned HIV, no?
I mean,
no COVID but HIV.
I actually have no idea how I've not got COVID yet. To this day, I have no idea.
You also didn't get it, right?
No, same here. Like,
There you go. Yeah.
Like everyone, entire fucking everyone got COVID.
Exactly.
And I missed out on that party by one decision.
Oh, but have you both got vaccinated?
No, bro. I got COVID in December, so I can only get vaccinated by March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
So you've got to wait 3 months. And now they don't have first dose anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't.
One dose.
Yeah. There's no normally it's first dose and second dose, right?
Yeah.
They don't give out first doses anymore. There's only second doses.
What?
It's fucking retarded.
I think they're running out as well because they just gave it to everyone, right? For a good amount of time. So now they had to realize we need to prioritize a certain demographic. So
they were just giving the same vaccine twice. They're like, yeah, fucking first dose, second dose. You know?
Yeah.
Now they're like, fucking, it's okay.
I feel bad for certain people as well. I know someone who got the Pfizer when it was still here.
Yeah.
And then he got COVID. And then the Pfizer ran out. So he had to get both doses of Sinopharm as well. So the shit that's going in his bloodstream.
That's what's going to give him COVID.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make him grow a second head, bro.
Yeah.
He's going to mutate in some way or other.
Head over there or...
we'll find out.
That's fucking sick, man. So, you want to tell us about what you do? All the fucking adventures you've been on?
Of course, bro. Basically, I'm a full-time karak seller, basically, you know.
Nice.
Hey, Malayali?
No.
What is this, bro? You gotta stay true.
Of course, bro. But,
Philly represent.
Philly represent. Nah, bro, cool.
Yeah, exactly. Philly's too expensive, bro.
Yeah, man.
Too bougie.
Yeah, bro, $1 dirham.
Yeah.
Almost $1 dirham.
Yeah.
Aside from that, now obviously, I'm a musician, artist. I don't like to consider myself just a rapper or anything. I just say artist, basically, because of the different things that I do tend to do.
Yeah.
Or indulge in music-wise.
Yeah.
So,
fair enough. What sort of stuff do you get into?
Well,
mastering.
Yeah. So obviously, I deal with the whole shebang basically right now. It's from the recording process to the most of the time production process as well.
Yeah.
Because I make my own beats and for other people, and then obviously the mixing, mastering. So it's like a whole one-man show, and I feel like it's so essential to do that at this point.
Yeah.
Because it just gets a bit long. Unless you have someone in your circle, which I'm lucky to have now. But at the same time, if you have someone who can handle that for you, regularly, it helps.
Yeah.
But when I started doing it, I didn't. So that's why I had to take it upon myself. Instead of just going on YouTube, finding someone, just paying someone every time, it's so much more expensive.
Pay them for
mixing, mastering, production, everything. Yeah. Initially, that's how it starts. It started 6 years ago with some Drake cover, some J Cole cover, then YouTube beats that you can only put on SoundCloud because I didn't buy them. So it was all free beats.
Yeah.
But then when I decided, okay, I need to take it seriously, I realized. I can't really be paying for beats all the time because that's how you have to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise you get in trouble. So then that's why I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy a MIDI keyboard, download Logic Pro, just learn how to do it myself. So thankfully it's been going pretty well.
How long has it been since then?
That started 2018.
Oh, okay. So you've been in it for 3 years.
Yeah. And it's weird because at the time I didn't know that many producers. I was always hitting up people who were interested in music, yo, do you want to make some beats, etc. But now I'm in a situation, like I said, thankfully, that I know so many producers and I always get sent beats by so many people. So I take a step back sometimes with the production. I'm like, okay, luckily I do have some options here and there, but when I need to, I still will, even just for monetary purposes, whether it's even for other people, etc. So just finding my way around it and trying to make the most of it.
Out of curiosity, so honestly, I always had somebody in my circle who was producing me and recording and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was one fucking huge hassle that's gone. But during COVID and stuff, I got like, equipment, got Logic Pro, did that whole shebang.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking chore for me. It's like
Yeah.
the biggest like chore. It takes out the fun for me.
What, just making beats?
Like,
or?
cause no, I don't necessarily make beats because I just get a fucking like a random drum track and I play like the guitar.
Yeah.
So I just like record bass and guitar and vocals and stuff. So the beat making is essentially like the top layer for me. But that act of recording, hitting that record button and then sort of like panning and like balancing the thing, it literally it sucks the life out of me. So like when you started, what was that like? Did you have a similar experience or?
Well, thing is, for sure, recording instruments like live instruments is so rewarding, but at the same time it's also more difficult because like you have to make sure it's like recorded in the right environment, obviously, and sound right, like you said, like whatever it takes, like post mixing wise, but.
I just fucking forgetting to do this.
Is this going in the footage?
Straight vodka.
It can. Who gives a shit?
If there's vodka in here, then
the vodka's behind, bro. You want some? I'll give you some.
Yeah.
Wait, when you change out the what do you call
the
30
minute
like
the
30 minute mark? Yeah, we'll go in for a quick.
If this
drink.
podcast takes a quick turn in like 30 minutes, you know why.
Yeah. Like imagine it's like I am fucking just like straight.
Unless you give me absinthe, then yeah. Oh man.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but like I'm genuinely curious. Like,
when I started,
was it a chore or was it like something that you just?
It was fun, man. Because like the MIDI keyboard makes it a lot easier because you have those pads initially. It's like just hitting those pads, etc.
Fucking MPC.
Yeah. And like for me, I can't play any instruments on my own, like no live instruments. So like a lot of the like most of it is all obviously self-played melodies, but it's more. Like the fun of it was just hitting those keys and just experimenting with melodies because then you can just play a 4-bar loop.
That's fair.
Loop it and then just put extra shit on top of it.
Yeah.
Like even to this day, like the drums part is my favorite part of making a beat. Because it's like just structuring it, getting the kick, clap, hi-hats, everything. Like that's my favorite part. And then nowadays I tend to move to like samples and stuff. Like you go online and you just find some guitar. Splice, Looperman, all that. Yeah, exactly. Splice is a lifesaver. You find some quality stuff.
100%.
So like and just finding a way to just chop it up, doing like just making it sound unique. So like that the fun was always there for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
It only at a certain point it became a bit long maybe because I was like I'm running. It's just because you have to stay in the creative zone all the time.
That's true.
So like once you're in that zone, then it becomes fun again.
True.
So yeah, man, like it's always been. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it for sure.
Fair enough. Since you were looking like that, Splice is like the fucking. It's like you register and then you download samples. It's like Netflix, and then you can just download like.
Oh sure.
If you like type in like claps and then you just get that fucking like.
Dude, that's so convenient.
And because it's a paid subscription, technically you're already paying royalties for that.
I've seen. Oh wait, I remember this because one of the guys that I shoot video for, like he uses the same thing because it's the same problem while you're. Not just shooting videos, I mean like in the editing part of it, a lot of times when you're shooting someone making a pizza, you need like a you need like all those different sound effects.
Exactly.
And so far I've managed to get those off of YouTube.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a pain in the ass because the quality of it on YouTube isn't great like when you download it. So but I can't at the moment because I don't make as much or like I don't have recurring gigs in a certain field. I haven't invested in one of them, but like that can be such a lifesaver when you get it.
Extremely. Like when I first got it, I'm like, because the thing is the quality of your sound steps up as well because like obviously you can make stuff self-made to the best of your ability unless you're like very super talented and you have like an extremely like wide creative spark in your brain to just make crazy melodies and pick the right sounds and stuff. Splice just makes it that much easier because then you find sounds that you like songs you hear like on Spotify or like from your favorite artists that it just sounds like an actual song you know what I mean, like it just makes it sound better than
blends in a lot easier.
It blends in a lot easier because then the sounds you find just sound a bit more I don't want to say professional but just a bit more like
well balanced.
Yeah, you can say that.
Did you do this shit like in college or school or was this after?
I started midway through uni.
So how like
that was like it was just like even like thinking about it now, because this is like 2015. I only started getting into hip hop like around 2012 maybe, just listening to it. But very mainstream stuff. Cause I was like, I like the sound of it. Then I was like
Recovery.
Yeah. At the time when
I
think when Lil Wayne's Carter 4 dropped. As well, because I think that was 2011. But then I had a friend who was also making music at the time, and that also influenced me to do the same. Well, we both on the same path at the time. Then I was just writing. I just thought, let me just write as a hobby, find these random beats, and it's all these like really cringy lyrics. Like the first ever rap I can always tell you was like, I'm at the club, oh yeah, I'm getting it. Like it's horrible, you know what I mean?
I'm at the club, partying with the bitches, getting those hickeys.
Oh man, it was horrible.
Gotta start somewhere. Right?
Exactly, and then on my I think 19th birthday, I asked my dad for a mic, just one of those USB mics and stuff. I thought, let me actually try and give it a proper go.
Yeah.
And then that's to start recording in my accommodation. I only wish I knew I wanted to do this before uni because I studied sports management, which is a whole different career path for me.
Did you like it though? Do you like sports management?
Oh, I love it because I love sports in general. I've always loved sports, and like I've always. Like obviously I was one of like we all were that kid like, oh, I'm gonna play the Premier League one day, you know.
Every time. You want to just be a part of that process.
I just want to be part of like just in some capacity or the other. You know what I mean? Like just whether it's working within like the backroom staff of a club, an agent for a player, or like an agency, etc. Just something like that because it's basically business management integrated with sports.
Yeah.
So that's what.
And it's one of the like it is huge demand industry. Like right now, man.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just a big proponent of like doing what you love. Doesn't matter if they're completely unrelated. You know, you could enjoy sports management. You could enjoy making music on the side. That's actually awesome because you're doing two things in your life that you love. Because like there's hundreds of people like you talk to in general. They're just like, and they're very oh fuck my life. I don't really enjoy like, and it's based on what they do. Like they spend 7 to 8 hours a day doing shit, and they're just not. And when they're not satisfied by it, and when you engage in that conversation with them, it automatically kind of depresses you.
Yeah.
Like, I like getting into conversations. It's not like I need to stay inspired all the time, but it's nice to get into a conversation with someone, and when they speak about something with some passion, it makes you reconsider that, okay, you know what, there's so much passion in what this guy's talking about. Like, what do I do? What am I missing out? Like, it's always helpful to have, that sort of conversation at least like 80% of the time. So,
I have a term. It's called the fucking Indian marriage syndrome. It's like they do it for the fucking last like 20 years and they're like, why the fuck did I ever do this in the first place? You know?
That's the thing, man. Like, oh my god.
So the fact that you do like sports management still, like, and the amount you can network through that, even for music, is insane.
Yeah.
Like, you through sports management, you're working with a club. The club needs to put out an ad. They need a song and an artist. Boom.
Oh man, yeah. I'm hoping for that still right now because I want to combine. People have told me like try and combine both.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, I'm literally I don't have to just pick between one thing or the other. But like as a career path, like it's just if I do find that loophole where I can sort of connect it one way or the other, and just then that'll be blessed. That's enough for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Dubai, the place for it?
Dubai, for sports, it's very difficult. Like obviously places like Europe, UK, especially when it comes to like football, as you guys obviously know, is obviously the hub. But over here, it's a bit more. It's a bit more complicated.
Al-Ali, bro.
But yeah.
Right there.
Go check with the boys playing in Al-Shabaab, partying up with the bitches.
Chilling with Omar Abdul Rahman and just like walk on cousin.
Bro, that guy stopped being relevant like fucking 5 years ago or some shit, didn't he?
He was supposed to go to Arsenal or something like that for a trial. That was his peak. That's the peak of his
The peak achievement was that you were mentioned in Arsenal rumours.
Yeah.
Wait, who's this guy Chow? Do you know him? CIAO. He's like
Chow?
Yeah, I swear it's fucking good. I remember it, bro. Like UAE Al Hilal Club or something. Like CIAO.
Is he good though?
Dude, he got a team of the week on FIFA. That's how I know him.
You know you made him when you're on the team of the week, bro.
Yeah, that's actually a big flex. That's a big
90 pace on fucking FIFA 21.
90 pace. Oh my days.
Bro, slap him on that left wing, pair him up with big T1, that's all you need, bro. The chemistry won't be there, but
who needs chemistry?
You don't need a green line, bro. Just keep
UAE represent.
Just keep him on the bench, bring him on in the 70th minute, fresh.
Finish, bro. That's
chemistry intact, and then you just exactly from the start.
Yeah.
Well, then contracts are a bitch, bro. Like that's why.
No, contracts are all they removed it. Don't worry.
Seriously?
Oh, like
for
no
21?
contracts they have.
Yeah.
Sorry, the fucking fitness or like whatever.
Seriously?
Stamina.
Oh, they don't have the chain.
Yo, that was such a big issue as well.
Exactly,
Yeah.
bro. That used to be like back in the day, FET used to be the most consumerism kind of fucking platform.
The most stressful thing as well, man.
Bro, bench of fitness, contract formation. Like we played FUT back in FIFA 13, you needed to get players based on formations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you bought like a John Obi Mikel back at the time,
you can only play like a 4-1.
Yeah, you're having a 4-1-2-1-2 John Obi Mikel. Like 4112 John Obi Mikel would be more expensive than a 442 John Obi Mikel. Like,
that's so fucking.
It's
so to
true.
the point where
Yeah.
4112 became the most expensive formation to have in a team. Like, imagine the stress, bro. Like,
Just for good old John Obi Mikel.
So you can't fucking get like a 442 and then put him on a 412.
you can, like, that affects chemistry.
But you'd have to then like buy another card that converts for.
Yeah, you gotta buy formations.
That's
That's a
just
bitch,
long, man.
Yeah,
like-
they've stepped up the game over there.
Of course.
And but what are the aspects of that? How would you see yourself integrating sports management and music? Like what way would you
Like a thought
execute that?
experiment.
I mean, I think probably the way you even said, like if there's a football club that needs, if let's say they have an ad or something, or they want to just make some sort of start of the season or like some build up to a game sort of video and stuff. You can just create some I can just create some dramatical music for that as well, because to be honest, that's where the money is as well with music in general when it comes to the whole. No, it's just like who you work with, because I can work with artists and I can produce and I can mix for them, but like you're not gonna, not everyone has big money to pay, so you have to like keep your. But with agencies and stuff and companies, they have the budgets depending on the size of it, especially with like football teams and all that sort of stuff. So they will pay in the like 4-digit figures, sometimes maybe in 5, depending on the size of the company and if they really want to take me on. But that's how it is.
Yeah, fair enough. I feel like as a thought experiment, like a good way to go about something like that, just spitballing, like would be to have a song that's like kind of fucking famous already.
Mm-hmm.
So like when it's heard over here, people would like instantly latch on. Like if it was some fresh track that some club was trying to demo, it would get like probably less interaction than like a already popular song kind of thing.
Like at the end of the day, because at my position right now, I need to know someone. Like I need to have a connection to then make that work. Like that's how I've spoken to other people who have done that. Like they have a connection. Obviously, if I went viral, then it's more likely they'll hear me and they'll approach me. So it's just about. I mean, Dubai anyway is about who you know, right? It's all about the story. So.
Wait, do you know Dow Music? Dow, he's a producer
In Dubai?
Yeah.
I don't actually.
Zad? Some shit. I don't know. Okay, no, I was just spitballing because I thought like you have like the producers and stuff.
I mean, I know a decent amount. Like I am connected with like a very, very, very good amount of producers, but there's so many people also in the city. Like,
do you know this guy called Phils or something?
Phil's makes me yeah. He has like dreads and stuff.
I think so. Yeah, connected with him for that whole event that I was trying to do, and dude, the guy as a manager and shit, man. I was just like,
yeah, he's not bad at all. Like I know he rolls with another dude named Just Nishan. Like I'm homies with Just Nishan, and then they both like boys as well. So
there's I'm some like honestly one of my and like the thing is I've heard your stuff on like I played it randomly on Spotify, but in full candor I need to save it because. Honestly, I do like the shit that you guys put out. Like there was a song that kind of just got stuck to my head. This guy called Vasi,
yeah.
Yeah, he made this track for this guy called Nomad, right? Like
it's like it's a page essentially. It's like a community which they just got. It was like a Nomad boot camp essentially. It was a project where they just got like artists together and they just.
So who's the Filipino dude? Like this song called Tabule,
Menon. Oh, Menon, he's crazy.
Dude, that song is so nice, dude.
Like Madrino Tabule,
yeah, dude, I was just like, yo, this guy just took Tabule and made it sound fucking cool, like.
Shit, fair enough.
And
what was the like inspiration behind this, like the?
I wasn't a part of it, but because obviously I know Vasi and a few others who were part of it. It was run by, if I'm not mistaken, because I wasn't part of this, this producer named Ryan Baluni. He's huge over here.
I think I've seen.
Shout out Baluni, of course, Ryan. But anyway, like they just decided to get together, create a boot camp specifically for SAE students though.
Okay.
But also at the same time getting few artists that they knew who are very like decent artists as well, and just sort of create a project and just see what comes out of that boot camp. So Vasi, since
that's actually a fucking great idea. That's why I was like
very good idea. Yeah.
Curious,
Of course.
You didn't have Chronic Nirvana boot camp, bro.
Man. Like there's a lot of exciting projects like that here and there that come out obviously, but a lot of people just are doing that thing at the same time. But
so how do you commercialize what you do? Like because the biggest problem that people have is you love doing it. Like I love shooting. Like for me, I guess it's slightly easy in the sense that people always want a video format, like some form of video media recorded and mastered. Not like saying one is lesser or easier, but like. This is a conversation I've had with Dakshay. Like when I'm editing something, it's actually, I can understand why he feels frustrated with it, like piecing music together, because you can't visually see how it works. Like it's so difficult because you're just reading sound bars, right? Versus,
like, especially if it's not like a 4-bar loop necessarily.
Like I mean, I don't know how sound works. Like I'm way more into videos, but like how do you commercialize something like that? Like it's difficult, isn't it? Like how many people come up to you go like, I have an audio requirement. Like is that common, prevalent at all?
I got a request for that. Like, yeah. Like people want to like rebrand their fucking company, you know, they want a fucking song on when the phone.
Everyone needs audio for advertisements.
Okay.
Everyone needs something audio basis. It just, like I said, depends on who you know. If you're lucky, if you're in the right place at the right time, of course, as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, if your stuff is like, if it sounds like sonically appealing and it's of a specific quality, then it makes it easier as well. So
like I feel like a lot of companies, like I feel like in Dubai it's taken a while to reach this point.
Yeah.
But like a fucking bunch of companies are like sort of rebranding and fucking getting like their own fucking theme song kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like all these fucking airplanes and shit. Like they used to fucking have shit, I'm swearing too much again. I promised him I wouldn't. But in airplanes and stuff, they like, you know, before Emirates just used to play like random songs, but then they had like somebody come and made like a proprietary tune.
Okay.
Now Cathay Pacific, British Airways, everyone's going down the same road, and yeah. So like I feel like many companies in Dubai now are like sort of, you know, waking up and they're like, yo, we need something cool, you know, to stand out.
I mean, it's also difficult because like obviously there are certain producers, artists, composers in the city who like are go-to for a lot of companies, right? Because like they're probably more established, they've been doing it, they have all the connections in the world, so they'll be the first ones to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So I generally put so much more emphasis on like who you know, because if you do know someone in there, that opens the doors for you. Because then if they know they're spending a certain amount on, you know, sound requirement, and they have choices, they're obviously going to go to one that they feel more comfortable with, right? So like it's all about like just that one door that needs to be opened. Like you just need to find that one company, that one person who will get you in, and then that just opens a whole round of possibilities.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
And now so far you were talking about how you mix and master music for like local artists and all, like, you know, now the whole thing with your studio, elaborate on that. Like it's not like a soundproof thing, is it? Like
it's not, like some people get surprised about that, and obviously like when it comes to mixing and mastering, everyone has their own takes on it. Everyone has like, if to an engineer, if I played like if you play a song to any engineer, like engineer to engineer, you're never gonna get like, oh, this is perfect. You know, everyone's gonna have some sort of feedback about it.
Of course,
whether it's like an engineer who just started, whether it's someone more established, everyone's gonna have something to say.
Everything's a work in progress.
Everything is subjective also, and not everyone, like, I mean, obviously I'm not gonna sit here and be like I mix it to like the highest professional standard. I do my best. Like obviously it's all self-taught, as it is for most people over here. Some people do it better than others, but the thing is, it's like, I mean, like, it's just how you, like, obviously the equipment I have is decent equipment to cover the whole soundproofing area. My room is not too, you know, big either and stuff. It's like a decent size as well. Like, there's not, I mean...
How do you make sure that there's no disturbance while you record?
As long as I'm listening to it with the feedback and stuff, like obviously if there's no AC on and like I don't get too much background noise in the back, you just record with the noise gate, etc. Like, as I could sound so amateur to a lot of people. Like I said, some engineers would be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But so far so good. I've not encountered any issues with anyone.
Like in post you can always
I've never encountered any.
How is it different for you when you record? Like, do you do the same thing, or like
I don't know, like I'm vastly inexperienced in recording my own shit, and I don't know if you use a dynamic or a condenser. Condenser. Yeah, like for me, I pick up like the most random things, you know, like freaking downstairs, like my dog goes and like jumps over something, and then it picks up. But I try to record like really late at night. That's why my hours are so messed up. So like 3 to 6 is like ideal because it's pin drop. You know, everyone's dead.
Because sometimes like it depends on the mic. Because like I have a Rode NT1A, which is meant to be one of the quietest mics in the world.
What do you mean by quietest?
Like it doesn't pick up as much.
Is it one of those things where you
alone,
like super close to the mic only, then it like...
Not super close, but like obviously the mic will come with like, I mean the mic's here, the pop filter's here, just be close to the pop filter. Because you always have to have like a distance like this, let's say for example, which is ideal to the mic. If you're any closer, it might clip. It sounds a bit too distorted, so there's all this...
I've always seen people do this. I never knew. I was like, when pani pi rahe kya?
If you have to set up your pop filter all the time, then you do this. Otherwise, mine's already at a certain... Like you just have to stay in front of the pop filter and it does the job.
Nice.
Do you have like the sort of soundproofing around the mic? Like
I have like one of those like those screens on the back, but it doesn't.
What they're called.
I'm struggling as well. I just bought it recently. I should know this, to be honest. But like the rest of my setup is just the mic. I have 2 monitor speakers we need, and then I have obviously the interface that connects the mic to the laptop, and then just a little mini keyboard there and the tacky LED lights to carry it up. I mean. You know,
you should actually look into making videos on this. Like, you know, when you're recording, right? And it's just great social media content because I'm
Of
like
course.
big behind social media because I think it's such a great platform to just grow. Like even if it's TikTok or whatnot, because like there's so many people like me that are actually fantasized by like, oh look, this is what they're doing, and if you kind of explain the functionality of each of these things, right? Not that I would ever use any of that because I'm a video guy, right?
Yeah.
But at the back of my head, I'd be like, oh cool, like tomorrow if I want to do this, I know
the
what I
basics
need,
of what you
and
could do. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
not that I don't see myself getting into audio for the life of me, but like if someone goes like, yo Nikhil, like we need to set up a studio. And like, can you help out? Tell us what I've done. I'll be like, oh, remember I saw this video and saw this whatever TikTok of how this guy, you know, set up his studio. Like, it's a great way to like even, you know,
100%.
just share. And I also think that's because I'm just curious about fucking 90% of things. So like, anytime someone has a cool setup with anything, it could be a gaming setup, it could be an audio setup. I'd be like, wow,
Of
so
course.
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit does bang because, like, I mean, like, when I was setting up my equipment, I'm only looking for like audio setup tutorials as well because that shit does get views at the end of the day. But like you said, it's all about the content as well that you put out.
No, it doesn't have to be a tutorial, dude. It could just be like, it could just be like, hey, I'm Varun and this is the kind of shit that I have.
You know, the
Like-
funniest thing you said that because like my entire whole thing, why I got into podcasts and like, you know, the first place was because I used to work at this studio. Like
Okay.
my friend's, he had a closet
Okay.
with like full recording equipment. And I thought it was the coolest setup ever. And I was like, we should just document this, you know, just making music in this setup.
Yeah.
And I guess it kind of encapsulates that. We should do like a round 2 in like, you know, either of our houses, like, you know, just in
Yeah, man.
going
Yeah, and it could just be a video,
stuff.
man. Like, and
Yeah.
it's one of those things when you talked about documenting. It's
Yeah.
something that I've been trying to do because when you watch a lot of Gary Vee, right? One of the biggest things he preaches is that document over create. It's still content, like because at the end of the day, we're all our own micro media company where we're putting out our own shit. We all have a digital brand, whether we like it or not. You can either propagate it or you can do dick all about it, but it's there.
That's
right?
how, yeah, exactly. And like we have to be seen as like you always have to remember that like you're a brand if you're doing anything creative as well at the end of the day. And like the documenting part, I feel like whether it's even like you said, like I feel like a lot of people have been talking about this recently. This has been a discussion that's been coming up in certain conversations for me. But the best sort of process to document these days is like an actual studio session, like, you know, just seeing how people are also recording with that equipment, right? So like if I had I want to do that like so bad because
that's literally what I was like, you know. I'm so fascinated by that, you know.
You always want to see how like the song is made, like just like
how did they come
little
up
bits
with
and
that
pieces.
stuff?
Like you see, like I'll go back and I'll see Travis Scott making a song, like he's just writing like 5 seconds of him writing something and then he's just recording it and then
that process is actually, and then you show the end result for like,
and then you show the end result
15 seconds.
exactly.
Yeah, a really good example of this is like there was this guy on YouTube. I was like learning how to mix and master, and this guy sort of broke down Billie Eilish's mix for like Bad Guy or something.
It could be Phineas, I think.
Phineas, of course. Yeah. Just Billie Eilish. Yeah, but so this guy got the actual stems from Phineas, and so he had the logic files, and he was like going through. He's like, oh look, she did 3 takes in this. He like, you know, this is what they did. It was very basic, you know. They had the synths, and he broke it down, and like it was awesome.
You know what's funny with one of Logic Pro's new updates that came out last year.
The sampler. The sampler?
The sampler was there, but they literally have a preset of a Billie Eilish song. I think it's Angel Eyes.
Oh,
and you open it, that's made by Phineas specifically.
I think that might have been.
That could have been it because they're like, I opened that and literally you have just the template right there of exactly how Billie Eilish's vocals are mixed.
Yeah.
You see like 10, 12, 15 different like vocal, like, I mean, different, what's the word?
Guides, tutorials?
No, just like the amount of recording she's taken. Like, there's her main vocals and then all her backup vocals, like there's 10, 15 of them.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And then that all just comes together and just, you know.
Yeah, and like literally all the takes that she did, like, you know, the stuff that wasn't selected as well, was like in the video that I saw, it was like, you know.
Didn't get to do this earlier, so salute.
So yeah. Thing recording?
Yeah.
Fucking nice.
And no, so
Drink responsibly, kids.
we're gonna put that little disclaimer.
Or not.
But because of the edit thing over here, which I'll probably cut to. But the whole thing about documenting is that I'm a stickler for production because I'm so used to being behind that camera. I'm used to editing things and making sure they go a little seamlessly, right?
Yeah.
Versus a lot of people, when you document, you don't care about those things. You know, it's just there and you put it out. It's still a piece of content. It's still a piece of content, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around the fact that you don't have to be a perfectionist. Like the video doesn't always have to be top quality. And you know, speed versus quality, you know, you put more things out over the way they actually look, And I mean, you doing the same, or even you while you're recording and just going like, hey, BTS, like this is what's kind of happening.
Yeah.
It's actually like a great way to engage people as well. Like people get more curious, like, oh fuck, cool, this guy is doing that. And then if you have like 5 pieces of video out with your entire process where you're recording and then showing people that sample at the end of 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And in that 15 seconds, if people get captured, and then you're converting more people to come and listen to your shit, and you put that whole find me on Spotify here, or like this is the name of the song, and
it's 100% a good idea.
It is 100% how you market yourself in any way possible, especially for musicians, because like you see like some musicians, I'm sure you all like seen or follow, like they'll release a song, it's just a cover art, new song out, go check it out.
Yeah.
How are you gonna drive engagement with that? You know what I mean? Like obviously all of us did it. I used to do it.
Yeah.
But there's always like even that one little promotion post to do something, or even just like you said, like if you have something to back it up, like how the song was made, like either just read before or after. It always helps. Like it's about how the content you put out.
Videos, man. Videos are a game changer. Like people's attention to videos is just so much more than audio at this point. I mean, just static pictures at this point.
100%, man. Like videos, like I'm sure you all, like I'm pretty sure you all can like literally name an example at the top of your head right now. But there's so many songs where the video makes that song 10 times better.
Sicko Mode.
Sicko Mode, yeah. For a lot of people, yeah.
Dude, the first time I saw that video, so I told myself this. I obviously listened to it when it came out, and I was in Dubai at the time. And my friend's like, yo, the video for this is trip. I told myself for an entire year, I'm not going to watch that music video till I'm high. Bro, I went and watched that shit high and my mind was blown, bro. It's one of my favorite things to watch when I'm high. Like, I'll watch it again and again. And that video is just, one of the best videos that I've ever seen.
Absolutely,
like,
bro.
It's so fucking arbitrary, but like it's so amazing at the same time.
Of course, like if the whole process just comes together as well, like, because...
Yeah.
Man, like, because obviously over here there's a problem with like, obviously people will focus a lot more on the music. But then again, it's also the same way like when it comes to producers, like, or if you have someone in your circle who can do this and that.
Yeah.
If you know a videographer, editor who can make that kind of level of,
That's so difficult though. That's why you need like full studio power to do that kind of shit.
Of course. So that is an issue. Like there's a lot of like, not many people, especially in the region, have access to people like that. Like everyone has cameras, everyone has like, you can still come up with really good music videos here. But you can't come up with that level yet. But not that you need that level yet. It's just like a benchmark that you kind of aspire to reach at most times. But
like, so there's this guy Jeremy Lynch, I don't know.
Of course,
yeah. So like that guy's Instagram, he posts like the stuff that he posts on TikTok, and dude, his video editing is actually really sick. I would say that it's like at that level, and he's probably just doing it, by himself, right?
Mm-hmm. Him and Billy, isn't it?
Yeah, no, not even.
Just him on his own.
Just him on his own, like his TikTok. He popped like this video of like some Thor shit, and his animation's insane, man. Like he's got.
The thing is, he could even be hiring an editor as well, because a lot of these UK YouTubers edit hire like all like sidemen and stuff like that. They have like.
They have people doing it, It's so much easier when you have someone doing it for you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremy did do it himself as well, because these guys obviously started that way. So we have like an understanding of editing it, but.
No, and like it's not like a big, it's just a TikTok, right?
Yeah.
So like I don't know how much effort,
That's true, yeah. But you never know. Swaz tickets.
Yeah, No, for sure, man. Like, but so I'm saying like it's not impossible to like have that person in the circle, but like I don't feel like people are that incentivized yet, or like it's.
Because it's just about the quality as well. Like I mean, it's marketing, quality, everything. But the quality is the number one thing. I always tell this to people, like just don't, like, it's so cliche. Work hard, don't settle. Because at the end of the day, like, you can obviously listen to a song from someone you know, and then you'll be like, okay, this is sick. You try to play it to another friend, like it won't reach. Because people don't understand, like, especially normal consumers, like. Not many people pay attention to like, is it how well mixed is it and stuff. You just listen to it. If it sounds good, it sounds good. But if it doesn't sound very mixed, you won't be able to tell, the mixing is off. Not everyone can. But they'll tell that something is off and it'll put them off. So that's always, that is lacking. Like they are a few artists doing that thing at a good level, but there's that quality in the music as well lacks a lot. Like I've started to at least try to develop a ear for it, because when I listen to a song, let's say from a local artist over here, and it has it's just something missing about it. It doesn't sound bright enough. It doesn't sound like if you put on a Drake song and then this one pops off the next on shuffle, it's gonna sound softer. It doesn't sound as bright. It's a bit more like there's so many details that a lot of people don't. I in my personal opinion pay attention to. That can go like, obviously that takes time. You also need someone to do that for you, because it's not easy to also replicate those kind of sounds, but at the same time,
and like also like where you're listening like to that track where you're
Makes
listening
a
into it
difference.
on makes such a big difference.
Exactly.
It's actually insane.
It's probably easier that someone will, if you listen to it on the phone, you
Yeah.
wouldn't really necessarily pay attention to that because it
Yeah.
won't come off
And
as
plus,
strongly.
like, the phone is like usually like more treble heavy, or like
Yeah.
some phones is more bass heavy, so it sounds like completely like fucking Scooby Doo
Yeah.
weird. Like
You'll be able to tell in the car. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll play something in the car, and then I myself will be like, oh
Yeah.
shit, there's something off with this
Yeah.
actually. Like, you know what I mean? So.
and like when you're like using studio headphones or something, it sounds fine.
Do you guys
Something
have like
that
a
feels-
like what's your favorite part of the process like for each one of you? There's like for you do mixing and mastering. You prefer playing more than like mixing and mastering.
fucking
Right?
playing live. That's the
I-
that's the
That's,
thing.
that's a difficult question actually, to be fair. Though, that's.
Yeah, caught it, but like fucking avoided it. Okay,
Fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the process of just making the song.
Or like, what's your
just-
favorite part
just
of music?
Like, you know, because you said you do mixing and mastering, you also you produce, you make your own beats. Then I mean, paint a picture for me. Which is mixing and mastering? Does that include you making beats as well, or is that a separate?
No,
part?
that's a separate thing. But then you also have to mix and master the beats as well. It's basically like if I was to layer the drums on top of it,
Mhm.
that's just the standard stuff. Then you have to find out how to make those drums hit. Like, you know, like how to really like smack.
Mhm.
And then like even with the melody you get, like you said, like when you play live instruments,
Yeah.
you have to cut off a lot of certain frequencies, low end frequencies,
Yeah.
add some extra stuff to it, just make it sound like, you know, cool and stuff. So like that's the mixing and mastering process of the instrumentals. That's something I'm not necessarily like, I'm still developing a lot. I'm much better at vocal mixing than I am with instrumental, which I'm getting
Mhm.
better at. But at the same time, I know like even to this date, I still send like some of my songs to people who can really, really bring out
Yeah.
the best quality in my instrumentals, and I just take care of my vocals for now.
Mhm.
I don't know.
And what about the whole like write? Because so you mix and master, you produce beats, then you write, and then you rap as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, it always starts with like either I'll make a beat, and then the way my process is, I don't get the lyrics first. I'll get the flow first.
Yeah.
So I'll hear the beat and then I'll have ideas. So I'll just go on the mic and I'll just go like na 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 na, like I'll just freestyle the melody or the flow.
Yeah.
Because that's the main thing. You want to make something that's catchy. You want to make something that people listen to. You want to make something that that's what I
write
that's
words around the.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes it doesn't always work like that. It depends. Like if I have like a beat that requires a lot more lyricism,
Yeah.
it'll start with the lyrics first, and then the flow will come from there. But a lot of I don't focus too much on one thing. I just focus on making good music.
Okay.
Without obviously I don't want to like what's the word, like neglect the writing process and making like, you know, coming up with decent quality lyrics. Again, that's also still something that a lot of people are still learning. That's something I'm still like constantly trying to improve on a lot.
Mhm.
Because like I know my like strengths to a certain point, I know my weaknesses also to a certain point. Obviously someone else could listen to my music and tell me like this should be improved, that could be improved, and I take it as good feedback. That's how we all have to.
And plus, there's no like hard and fast rule, right? It's like
Like,
whatever works.
If it's constructive criticism, I welcome that. I love that. Like you need, everyone needs it. Like, and a lot of people are like they shy away from it. Like someone will send me a song and be like, I don't like this, but I feel like you could do this, and they'd be like, oh fuck you. You know what I mean? Like who are you? Who are you to tell me shit? Like I mean, I'm trying to help you, fam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what's the point of you trying to do this?
So
You
from
know?
both of you, right? Because both of you guys are the music guys here, right? So what, from the time that you started, right? What do you see as the thing that you've probably improved on the most? And right now, what are the things that we'll start with that. Like, what is the thing that you've like improved on the most from when you started?
Like you go first.
Production and singing, especially because like I feel like my rapping, like I mean I pride myself on having like a decent delivery, cadence, and just like performance. I know I can still like, I want to have a bit more complexity in my lyrics, because at the moment right now it's still like, you know, there's some songs where I'm like, whoa, I just came up with that, like this that's a hard punchline, like I'll gas myself up. But there's sometimes where it's like I could actually do better with this song, etc.
Yeah.
But I've always tried to sing. I've always tried to like, I want to do melodic stuff as well. I don't want to just limit myself while using, obviously I use modulation autotune, but I don't want I don't want to rely on the autotune that heavy. I want to also match that pitch as much as possible. So I've like tried to develop that as much as possible, and I feel like that's improved a lot, because before, like I was always very monotonous. I was also very like like very, you know, like I wouldn't express my full voice, but now like I'll just go all out without really thinking twice about it. Like,
Fair enough.
yeah,
How do you improve on that?
just like
Practice.
yeah, just practice. The more you like, the more I listen to, the more I try to replicate from another artist, and the more I like the more you just do it basically, essentially, then I'll sort of be comfortable with how I'm singing also, and sort of pretty much.
Now, like I think like with producing, it sort of like opened a different perspective, right? Because I was always playing with the band, or like it was very dominant on like the live thing. So it was like I'd have like the guitar first and then the lyrics or whatever. But like after like recording, this fascinating thing started happening where like, you know, if I like hear something, I'm like, okay, like the possibilities for what can be added on top of that I've like seemed to widen. So I guess in that sense, my perspective is sort of better. So like, you know, I hear something and I'm like, okay, that could sound good with like a cello part, like da-da-da-da or some shit like that, you know. And I would have never thought like that, like maybe like a year ago. So very thankful for that. Like,
of course, man.
And like even in playing live music, I made this very strong case in like my application. I was like, you need to know production, like you know.
That's true. Especially like even with production, I feel like the other thing I've also improved on is sound selection. That's something that a lot of people like. Sound selection. So it's like, you know, the specific instruments you pick, right? Those also have to be on point, because you can have like the basic pattern. You can sound like or like those like snares have to be the right snares pick, because you can have a beat pack and a sample pack, and you can choose from like 10, 15, 20 different those specific instruments, you know what I mean? So that has to be on point and has to match the vibe of the song. Obviously that takes time in development. Sometimes it sounds good, sometimes it doesn't from different people, but like that's something that is so important also. That's
something I struggle with actually, because they're all like, I mean right now they mostly sound the same, but like I do understand the difference. But yeah, I feel it must be a hard thing to like sort of get a year, you know, like yes, that's good.
Of course,
that's
like,
I think like, you know, bouncing off and criticism.
One practice I would say that is for any producer, for you, for anyone, like that what I used to do, I used to try and replicate, you know, all these YouTube beats you hear. So like if I hear a beat I really like, I'm like, oh shit, this is hard, but I don't want to pay for it. But I'll try and, let's say, replicate the beat pattern of it. So I'll try and replicate the same drums. I'll pick a sound that sounds exactly similar to that. And then you just develop an ear for it. Then from there, it's like, okay, this sounded good over here. And then again, it just depends on how much music you listen to. Like, then you listen to the sounds there. Like, I pay very detailed attention to all the music I listen to in every sort of aspect as well. Like, I try and listen to every instrument that's in there, any subtle change, and then I just sort of replicate that in my music.
Fair enough. That's actually a really good exercise.
Do you guys have a particular concern with, say, accents when you do? Because especially with rap, like, I don't know why, because like when you talked about the Shilla guys earlier, right? Now they're Desi guys, so when you Desi rap, like, okay, you take me for example, right? For whatever reason, like you studied in the UK, you can bring out a little bit of a drawl, which isn't fake. It's just more like, you know, you're used to it. You're used to communicating in that certain fashion, right? Which isn't the case with me. Like if I ever was to rap to a song, I'm gonna sound like this. You know how fucked up that is? Like rapping in English with this accent. No, mostly because people aren't used to it. People aren't used to you know, rapping in Indian English.
Dude, I understand, like, you know, that perspective, but like I have a friend who's like lived in Chennai all his life. Fucking, you know.
This is Purpose?
How sick is Purpose?
Yo, that guy, honestly, there is a little bit of a thing, because people like us might listen to it because we like music. Like, you could sound like this as long as you deliver a good product at the end of the day. Like that guy, his songs have strength. It's got some substance to it, right? Like the lyrics are good, the beats are good, and it doesn't matter if, you know, for maybe 30 seconds of that song he sounds really desi, and then for that other 30 seconds he kind of has another drawl, like an accent drawl to it. I like it because I like the fact that someone's creating something and this person isn't super fucking big, and it's honestly more meaningful than other commercial shit I've listened to. But like, how does this affect you when you rap? Like, do you
the reason I have a big smile on my face, and I know there's a few people wanting to see what I say this is my biggest pet peeve in music right now. So you open up a can of worms right now, I'll tell you right now. Like, this is something I tell everybody, and this is something I also like preach against. Like, for me, like the way my accent, like I was lucky, like I went to an IB school, I've been around, like, so it's also naturally the way I speak, and also ended up developing the way I speak. Like, I'm not too strong in that way, but even in, like, when I deliver my verses or when I'm recording, it's not like I don't stress on it, I just deliver it naturally. But the whole Desi accent thing, if your accent is really strong and you like, that's a big turn off for me straight away. And I always tell people like try
accent's
and work
too
on
strong, as in like too desi or like too
anything. It could be anything. If your accent, like obviously at the end of the day, I wouldn't tell someone just fake an accent. Try like and just put on some fake accent. Like obviously if it's if that's from where you're from, it's where you're from. Fair enough. If you can find a way around it, you can find a way around it. But if you're trying to make mainstream sounding music, like especially in hip hop and rap, and you're using a very strong accent, like okay, some people might like it. I'm not saying like it's shit entirely. Obviously, maybe it'll be where he's from. People will relate to it a bit more. They'll probably like it.
But it does kind of limit your reach.
It limits you a lot, and I'll tell you a secret. I might get in trouble for this. I don't know, but like even radio play.
Yeah.
They won't, especially over here. I won't name names, but like even in other places, they won't accept you. A, if you're not on the charts, and B, even if you're not, you have to sound the part. You have to sound like if you want to be mainstream, if you want to push your music to that Billboard level, you have to sound that part. And
that's true.
Yeah, and if there is a little bit of accent involved, they won't even look at it. They'll be like, I can look at another song that sounds like that it belongs.
That sounds way more relatable to like other people, because this shit has happened with Zishan. Like, because when I speak to Zishan, he actually sounds completely different than the way he does when you listen to his music.
I've had to put his accent in check a lot. I've had to like put him in, like keep him in check, because sometimes he'll mistake his W's for V's sometimes and vice versa.
Okay, yeah.
And he'll have like, I always tell him like, and he knows this well, like and his accent has got a little better. Like he sounds more natural on the track. Because obviously it's about like fixing the accent and sounding natural with it. Now I've always told him, and he's got better with it, but there's still obviously a few things here and there, because then it affects the way you deliver, it affects the way you perform. Because then you're thinking about one thing and then
exactly, because you're actively like it's the same thing when I did karaoke in the US, right? Obviously, if I sing a song like on karaoke or whatever, I'm not gonna be like, in the end it doesn't even matter. It's not that, but like if I was to naturally say something, right, I'm going to say it the way I do right now, unless I've lived somewhere else for a while where I've had to internally modify the way I speak to, kind of convey my message or whatever I say to others. Like if you live in the UK long enough, and I lived in the US for like 2 years, my accent did change. Like if I show you a video of the way I spoke, 4 years ago, right, it's completely different.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not okay. It's not too bad. Like I didn't go like, "Hey, my name's Nikhil. It's nice to meet you." Like that's not how I spoke. But like,
you didn't fucking change genders, like.
Like not going to take any names, but like there's a guy from our school, right? He went to the same uni as I did, and this dude. And here's the thing: I saw a lot of kids from Bombay here. Like I understand changing your accent to the point where, look, if you sound the same to me and to others, no problem, right? I have absolutely no problem with you changing your accent where it's one, like you talk the same way to others, right? This guy would be like, "Arey sunna, this guy was just sitting here in the toilet and then, hey!" And then just be like, "Yeah, I'm totally going to the class." Yeah. And then like, "Ha bro, I'm going to class."
Bro, it's crazy. I do that as well. Like I consider myself a chameleon sometimes, because whenever my UK friends, I'm like, "Oh, what are you saying, cuz?"
No, I'm just gonna agree with
But to a bigger part, this guy's been there. But to a good extent, like it doesn't horribly change. Like like for example, when he talks to me, unless he's making a point that is super, he'll be like, "Damn, macha," like that, unless it's that, like I don't really see much of a difference in the way he talks to me and the way. If he speak to one of his friends while playing COD, right? Of course, there's a slight difference, but like it's not something that's completely out of the world. But like there's some people who just fucking go from 0 to 100.
You can tell like that's just a bit.
Yeah, and it's not bad. Like you can't blame them, right? Because you're adapting the way you communicate so that others can understand you or comprehend you better. But the fact is that especially when you're singing, right? If you're used to a certain thing, it's so difficult. Like my friend. I wrote something once. I was like, okay, this would sound pretty sick. And then I recorded myself trying to rap to it, right? Oh my god, it sounded so fucked. If I didn't have some degree of Western accent to it in some way. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why it is. I don't know why people are so.
I think I have two like perspectives, right? One thing, like if you sing like in the end, and like But like that's like identifying with the words more than a sound. Like, you know, I feel like many people, like especially like singers, vocalists, like listen to a sound and then they replicate that sound. Like
they don't
think about the fucking accent as much. You know, and I feel like that's like very widespread. So you can make whatever fucking sound you want, like, you know, with some practice. And the second thing is like why that is, like, you know, why you know, people like want to identify with something else is where you are, man. Like, you know, if you were like in the UK, the same thing, and you wrote that rap, like because of where you are, you will know exactly how to make it sound, you know, right? Over here, like the situation around you is sort of not
completely different.
Yeah, and so like emulating something that you're not a part of is even harder.
You can be seen as like a culture vulture as well. But what I always encourage people, like especially like let's just take Desi rap for example. Like let's just take Indian rappers. If they have a very strong accent, like it doesn't sound amazing, right? Yeah. But I always encourage them, just rap in Hindi. Just do like obviously if you anyway like your accent will more cater or like be relatable to that audience. So don't try and stress it in English. Obviously, I get that you're probably listening to J. Cole, you're listening to Drake, you're listening to like American rappers. You want to do that.
Like,
you're not always
don't do something that you're not, like, you know.
Yeah, just be comfortable.
Like don't force it.
Find your lane. Be comfortable in it. Don't like try and force it. Exactly. That's the thing. Like I'd rather listen to you if you're speaking in Hindi. Like that's not necessarily my vibe, but at the same time it'll sound more natural. Better. It's natural. You're not forcing it. Yeah. It's coming from like, you know what I mean. So I always encourage that, like from anywhere where someone's from. But if you have the accent you develop, you can deliver it at a decent, you know, level. Then fair enough, do it. Like,
and what is the accent, anyways, man? It's like you go live somewhere for like fucking 6 months.
There is no set accent. Yeah, like I just focus on like not trying to enunciate certain words. Like like just the way I pronounce certain words would be like a bit more relaxed than others. Like I wouldn't like put too much emphasis on it and just sort of go with the flow that way. Like I don't think about it too much. I just see how it comes out. It comes out naturally so far. Because the longer you do it, the more you develop it. Like the way
you how you want it to sound.
Yeah, of course.
So
for sure.
Like, you know, if with what you've done so far, what's next for Varun? What do you do next for Prince VA?
Yeah, what's next for Varun? I don't know. But for Prince VA, there's I mean, I'm again the struggles of visuals. I'm getting a video record like done in the next couple of weeks with this guy. Shout out Akira Kyle. He's my videographer for this. And then obviously there'll be other projects involved along the process. But for now, I have a single ready, which I'm hoping to be like this big hype single, and I want like really good visuals for it, just to re-emerge my image. Because I dropped in November, I think, which is an EP, 5-track EP with this other producer, Control. So that's the first thing. Otherwise, it's just I was just sitting and planning this like the other day. Like I have like this year potentially I could be releasing 20 songs because that's how much is in the works.
In the pipeline.
In the pipeline, and there will be more. It's only February. So like that's just stuff that I've been working on the last 3 months. So it's just about what I'm gonna release, when I'm gonna release it. It's just, but the good thing is just like creating that content from the start and then planning it later. So at the moment that's what I'm doing. But for now, this one single that I have in the pipeline is the one that is probably gonna come out hopefully in a month, inshallah.
Nice, man. All the best. Yeah, that sounds fucking sick.
And to be very honest, like this is one thing that I haven't stressed on enough, which is that every time we do this podcast, you know, we do it with people who are kind of receptive to have other people reach out to them. So like if you're someone who's even thinking about considering, you know, to get into music in any form, like if, you know, if you want to start playing live music or whatever, Dakshay and Varun, both of them, like, you know, they're both guys who, okay, face it, like, okay, this guy might not be the biggest rapper out there, he might not be the biggest guitarist out there, but both of them have, you know, started and progressed on this journey for, you know, years in the making right now. Like, you know, you've been doing this for 3 years. You've been playing guitar for
6 years.
Geez. Yeah, like fucking, you've been playing guitar for what, like God knows how long, man. You've been at it for so long. And if you guys ever need someone to just not, you know, just approach and kind of get a pointer as to, you know, hey, I want to start this, how do I do it?
Critical criticism, bro. Like, you know, we can just like, exactly.
Yeah, and if you want someone to look at your shit and just go like, yeah, that's trash, but that needs to change, or this is good and this is what you need to improve on.
I'm always open to it as well. Like, I'm sure you are as well, 100%. Like, I don't get people with like certain egos as well. That's another thing I
They don't reach out. I'm just like, you know, when you look at this world and you see the fact that there's so many people who themselves are the biggest resource into, you know, probably giving you an idea as to how to do things. Because like you've done shit over a span of like 3 to 5 years, And at this point, you've kind of figured out what may work and what might not work in Dubai. And when people tap into that resource, they tap into those years of experience, like, you know, and that's one thing that I've kind of pledged the podcast to, which is, you know, get people on board where you can absorb from that and try and, you know, shave away some of the things that you don't necessarily have to go through, you know. Of course, everything's an experience. People have to go through certain shit themselves, find out what works and doesn't work. But, you know, I really urge anyone over here who's watching, who's even considering music, or even if you want to make videos and, like, you know, partner up with someone, like either one of these guys, including me, like, you guys want to shoot shit, you know, definite call. I haven't done this in a while, but like if anyone is down, that's the essence of Chronic Nirvana. So yeah, man, I'm pretty sure we'd all be down. Anything that you've I mean, you did say you released something in November. Anything that you've dropped recently that you want to guide these guys to? Any music, anything you've produced for someone recently?
Yeah, I mean, I'm producing like a lot of there's this artist named, well, there's a lot of artists I'm working with right now. I'm working with another artist named Lord Sarish, who's also like, I think he's from Chennai, and he's also like, he's been making music for a while now. So like I started to mix and master his music on the regular, and I've just produced his upcoming single, which should be coming on let's say, I don't know whenever he decides to drop it. But there's that, obviously there's guys like Zishan, and there's a lot of exciting collaborations that I have, you know, based on people like at this point, like obviously I don't want to like, you know, toot like a horn or something like that, but like I look for artists who with quality, you know, like if I was to work with them, like if you're giving me a good song, I don't care who you are. If it sounds good to me, if it's in every way, or if I feel like there's potential, I can feel like, okay, you know what, I like this song, I'm happy to do it. If you can just fix this and that, I'll do it. Khalas. Like I don't care who it is. Like if it sounds good, it sounds good.
I think it's also about like, as long as someone shows interest in, like, you know, even if I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but if someone comes and gives you something and it's kind of shit, right? And then you go like, hey man, it's kind of shit, I don't want to work on it. And these are the three reasons why, like these are reasons why it's shit. And then that person goes like, oh shit, you know what, dude, I'll kind of work on this. And like,
that's,
you know,
amazing.
Can you help me? Can you tell me how I can improve on this?
That's
like,
amazing.
Pretty sure people will be open to that.
Depends on the level of shit though.
Depends on the level of shit. Because if you feel like if you're listening to it and you feel like it can't be fixed, or like they probably need some time to develop, like the way I've been approached, or the way I approach it is, I've even sent songs out to people like back in the last couple of years, and they'll tell me like, this song is cool, but I don't see myself on it. Maybe like, but come back to me with another one. Or if they give me like a good reason, like I'm looking for something different, no problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely no problem. If I don't want a scene, or I don't want to like, you don't open my message. Like at least have the respect to, you know. And likewise, I'll do the same. Like if someone will approach me, either if I don't, like let's say like it's a 16-year-old, 17-year-old rapper just starting, I feel like okay, they have some potential. Like come back to me like later and stuff like that. But if it's something that like I know the artist can make a better song with, I'll be like, listen, I like the song, it's cool, I just don't see myself on it, send me something else. So this, I mean, it still opens up like, okay, he still wants to work, he's interested.
But it also depends on people's ability to take that sort of criticism.
It's about, like if you have like a decent level of maturity to do that, I feel like that's also the case, because like you have to be open to it. You have to be open to it. You can't like just have, especially, you can't have yes men in your circle as well. You have to have people keeping you grounded every time.
Absolutely.
So
It's great that you look at it that way. So yeah, this is Prince VA on Chronic Nirvana. Thank you so much guys for joining us. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Ciao.
You. Yes, you. Thank you for watching the Chronic Nirvana podcast.
And if you aren't following us on Instagram yet, what are you waiting for?
What are they waiting for?
Make sure you do right now. Like before you stop everything you're doing and follow us on Instagram right now at Chronic Nirvana.
100%. And if you have any friends that would like to be a part of the podcast, has an interesting story to say, please let us know in the comment section below or on Instagram.
And if you feel like you yourself have an interesting story to share and want to be a part of the podcast, make sure you DM us on Instagram, or just leave your suggestions down in the comment section below on YouTube or on Instagram or wherever we put out the podcast. Honestly, 100%.
And if you don't have the time to watch a Chronic Nirvana episode, please do check out the Chronic Nirvana clips on YouTube and get yourself a new job.
So this is Nikhil.
And I'm Dakshay.
And this is Chronic Nirvana.